Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to each and every one of you to this spectacular workshop, Biller Onboarding and Automated Testing. I think this calls in for a huge round of applause. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. We already had a glimpse of it at the launch, and I'm sure we're all excited to know more about it. Yes? Fantastic. So let's look at the AV first.
Welcome to the launch of an innovative and intelligent solution to simplify and speed up the onboarding of billers on Bharat Bill Payment System. Bharat Bill Payment System, that is BBPS, at the time of its inception, started with fewer bill categories and limited number of billers. Thus, the onboarding of billers onto BBPS was initially designed as an offline manual process, keeping control with NBBL team, but later making it time-consuming. With growing demand of consumers to make bill payments online, and more biller categories getting added onto BBPS, a large number of billers require to be registered for smooth and interoperable bill payments. Presenting the all-new Biller Onboarding and Automated Testing Platform. A solution to onboard and certify billers by various banking and fintech partners as biller operating units, and all online process, making onboarding fast, easy and automated with minimal intervention from the NBBL team. Now, the biller operating units can simply onboard a new biller through both portal or both APIs. The platform will validate the biller details, and the robo framework, based on the biller configurations, will define the test cases automatically and enable the biller operating units to test on their own. And it's done. The biller will be live to the ecosystem. The portal provides numerous benefits to billers and biller operating units to make it efficient with an automated process and saves a lot of time. Biller onboarding and automated testing platform, making it easier and faster for billers to be part of Bharat Bill Pay.
Ladies and gentlemen, what an incredible initiative. Come on, a huge round of applause for Biller Onboarding and Automated Testing. And to Bharat Bill Pay for bringing it to us. And to give us more details, I would like to invite on stage none other than Mr. Subradeep Bhattacharya, Incharge Product, NPCI Bharat Bill Pay Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with a huge round of applause. Over to you.
Thank you, Sir. So I think we have entities who are responsible for onboarding billers onto Bharat Bill Pay currently, and I hope they understand that onboarding a biller right now is complicated, and to automate it is not as simple as it's looking in the video. And now this workshop will go like you have seen the video. You now understand the glimpse of it. But today we intend to show it how actually it happened, step by step, the process, the workflows, and everything. And we can make it interactive. You can ask us questions. We can clarify all your things and everything.
Hello? Yeah. So if the biller does not have a real-time system for pushing your bills of all the consumers, and if they want to give you in an Excel sheet, will that be possible or?
Okay, so I think the question came very early. I didn't expect the question come so early. But I think, like if you wait for a while, maybe you can just grab a chair. I think, let us show you the process. I think it will automatically answer all your questions. Yeah?
I need to go for another session, that's why.
Oh, you have to go to another session? Maybe I can give you my card, we can catch up offline? Okay. Coming back, so uh, so this is what the problems. Okay. So giving a background, like when we started Bharat Bill Pay, people who are associated with it for a very long time, they know that initially there was 5 categories that we started with, very limited billers. So the process that was put for that time was, details coming over email, things getting inserted manually into a system, the checks and balances are doing manually. But over the time, RBI allowed more categories. We went into categories such as education and housing societies and all that, which now we envisage thousands of billers coming into it. And so, of course, this process will make it it's highly time consuming, lots of coordination, effort, incentive, and all that thing. So of course, the need of the hour is to automate this whole thing. Like we should not be there in between. We should not be there blocking you to onboard any biller. So you want to scale up as fast as you want, and our system, our platform should be able to support you. So that's what the agenda over here. So yeah, I think we discussed all this. It has to be fast, easy, and automated. I'm just skipping all this slide because I want to keep more time in actually demonstrating this whole platform. So one thing over here is that, while onboarding, we can onboard through a portal. So we have built a portal where you can go and onboard. But if you want to automate it further at your side as well, and you have some existing platform where you're managing your billers, you can use our API as well to manage the things. Least intervention from CU. So I think today, at every step, we are standing there monitoring and checking, coordinating and all that. So we want that to be, we should not be very prominently present in the steps. Then notifications, there should not be, we want notification to be automated. It should be an automated emailers going on. It should be an API callbacks, everything automated, so that you get a status. You don't need to call us, email us back to know the status of anything. So that's the third point. And of course, not only the onboarding, this platform also gives you the empower to modify the biller details. It can give you about activate, deactivate. Of course, for now, there is a step of approval for now, but later we can also see that how that can also be automated. And even the MDM that we release, which we are automating that further. So percolating the biller details to the further ecosystem can also make faster and automated. So the approach is simple. So we have a portal and API where the BOUs can access. Then they can use the portal API to directly onboard the biller. The platform will do all the validation. So the validation that we have currently, that is manually done, the platform will now have the intelligence to do it on their own. And for now, there is one check where the CU, we will have an approval, but we are expecting to be very fast because everything else has been already checked. So we approve it, and then the biller will be queued for testing. Now for testing, again, there was a dependency that, the BU is giving us those test data, we are initiating those transactions and all that. So now this platform will have a simulator which will give you the test cases. You upload the test data on your own and you can invoke the simulator and it will give you the results. And once the testing is successful, we approve and make it live. So this is a very high level approach. Now we will quickly go into a product demo and I'll ask Cyril to come back.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for Mr. Subradeep Bhattacharya? Thank you so much for giving us in-depth insights of both. And now, ladies and gentlemen, as he mentioned, we're going to go through a demo, a step-by-step process. And to do the same, may I invite on stage Ms. Amritha Nair, Senior Associate Product Research, NPCI, Bharat Bill Pay Limited. Thank you so much, Amritha. Joining Amritha, I would like to invite Mahesh Govind, founder, Digiledge. All right. Okay, so we'll first have Amritha. Go ahead. Over to you.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome. Hello everyone. I hope I'm audible enough. So let's have a look at the demo. So as you can see, this is the portal.
Show me reading options whenever.
Thank you. So let's have a look at the portal. So this is the dashboard which shows the total number of billers onboarded, total number of billers approved, pending billers, rejected billers, and you can see that this is represented graphically as well. So I'll quickly show how our onboarding form looks like. So these are the basic details that need to be filled. We can also upload consent form and logo here. So this is the address tab which can be filled, the biller parameters. So as you can see that most of the fields are pre-filled for enhanced user experience, and these fields are absolutely editable. Let's go to additional payment info. So this is also auto-filled here. And we have options to delete and add new payment modes, payments channel, etc. So I have already pre-filled a form so that we don't run out of time. So I'm entering KIFS Housing Finance Limited as the biller name, biller alias name, biller legal name and all. So you can see that. So once the PAN number, I have given the wrong input for the PAN number, it has given me validation. It has given me an error message. So this is because all the fields, most of the fields are configured with validations here. So I'll just give the right one. So now it's gone. I can save and proceed. So now let's upload the logo. And the consent letter. So this is the address tab, and once I enter this PIN code, you can see that the state and city and the country is also auto-filled. Let's proceed. And this is the biller parameters tab. Biller parameters are those which says whether the biller accepts ad hoc and whether the biller is online, offline, etc. And I've filled in all the mandatory fields and I'm proceeding. So this is our payment info tab where the payment modes are those payment modes which are accepted by the biller. So suppose I'm deleting debit card, it's gone. I can add anything if I want. Let me add debit card itself. And you can see that the maximum limit and minimum limit are pre-filled, and this is also editable. All right, let's save and proceed. So these are the payment channels. Okay, so customer parameters tab. Customer parameters are those parameters which the customer needs to enter in order to fetch the bill. So let me show this to you. Application number I've already pre-filled. Parameter visibility yes. Minimum length 1, maximum length 10. And parameter rejects I've given as alphabets. So you can see that we have number, alphanumeric, alphabets with special character, email ID, phone number, etc. So let me select email ID. And you can see that rejects pattern is auto-filled here, depending upon our selection. So let me select number only. Let's see. Same for additional info and additional info payment as well. We can fill all these details and the rejects pattern will be auto-filled. So now comes the biller response parameters. Biller response parameters are those parameters which are to be displayed in the bill. So suppose it can be charges. Before that, I'll show you that amount breakup set. So the base bill amount for whichever category it is, base bill amount is prefixed because it is mandatory. And this, let me add other response parameters as well. For example, late fee. So I'm giving parameter as a mandatory field, sorry, as an optional field. Parameter visibility should be yes, minimum length 1. Sorry about that. Okay, and maximum length 10. Parameter rejects as number. And let me add one more response parameter. Let's say charges. Let's save and proceed. So here comes the amount breakup set, and we can add we can create amount breakup set in any combination. So suppose here I'm creating base bill amount and late fee as a breakup set, and I'm adding it. So this is breakup set 1, and the second breakup set will be charges and base bill amount. And these are the two amount breakup sets that I have created. So let's proceed. And now let's review the details and submit the biller for approval. So this biller is submitted for approval. Alternately, we can also create a biller through APIs. I'll show you that. So this is our create biller API. Here, suppose I'm just entering Tata Power as the biller. Okay, and I'm sending. So you can see that the details are inserted successfully. Now let's see whether both these billers are reflecting in our NPCI interface. So this is our NBBL users interface. So the NBBL user goes to pending biller, and we can see both Tata Power and KIPS both are created. Now NBBL user can So you can see that Tata is approved. So NBBL user can view all the details. Okay, let's approve KIPS. So NBBL user can view the details and approve the biller or reject the biller. There are two options. Now the biller is successfully approved. It has come to NPCI's interface. Now let's go to the bank users interface and check whether it's reflecting. Yes, KIFS is reflecting here, it's approved. Now, once this is approved, this can go for testing. So KIFS has already been, the testing, all the test cases are automatically configured by the portal, and let's run the test. So this testing is very quick and simple. I can just download the Excel, which shows all these details and which asks for application number, which is the sample test data that needs to be provided. So I'll just enter the sample test data here. Okay. And then let me upload this. So I've downloaded, I've entered the sample test data, and I'm uploading the same file. Now let's see. I think the file is already uploaded, right? I've already uploaded this. Maybe there's some network issue.
Where is the file?
It must have come to downloads or something. Can you save it as CSV? Yeah. I'll run the test, right? Yeah, I'll just try that. I think there's some network issue. It's not showing here.
I think this file is not saved properly, but it's okay. I think
I already have the file. That's CSV. Okay, let me just try again. I'll download the test data again. Export. Okay. Yeah. So now you can see, sorry about that. So now you can see that the application number is showing here, which I have entered. And now the test is already in progress. Let's wait for some time.
So actually, it's supposed to show the test result over, but maybe there's some network drop somewhere. Is actually hitting the sandbox environment of BBS and then going further to BU and all this. So, but here the test results will be shown. I think we can proceed for the next steps.
I'll just show the test results here in the video itself. Yeah. So we'll see the biller testing. So this is how it's going to show.
So we had already also recorded this whole flow because we are not sure our network will work or not.
The file is uploaded and the test data is shown there. Now let's run the test data. As you can see, the test results are shown here.
Okay.
So that's about testing, and I welcome Mahesh to join to explain the test framework.
Just a one-line introduction before Mahesh shows us how this testing framework is designed. So Mahesh and his team actually is behind developing this application for us. So Mahesh is the founder of Digiledge. Ladies and gentlemen, applause for him.
Yeah, thank you all. Maybe I'll give 2 minutes overview of this. So here what we are doing is we are exploiting the that properties of MDM. You might be knowing master data management. So in MDM, as you know, like a biller is abstracted based on 2 sets of parameters. One set of parameters defines the biller, like the biller is online, offline, and all. And the other set of parameters are used by the biller to identify a specific customer, like the customer parameters. So what we do here is for doing this type of testing, like you might have seen that Amritha has downloaded the Excel sheet. That Excel sheet is dynamically generated for a specific biller because every biller have different types of customer parameters and data, and it will give you some guidance like what type of data you need to upload back. Once data is uploaded back in the backend for the testing part, there is a robot framework is there. That's a BDD framework, behavior-driven framework. So actually, maybe the test cases are written in simple English. I'll just try to video. Okay. So you can see this is actually something some of you might be knowing. This keyword-based testing, like say we write the test cases defined in plain English keywords, so it could be easily adapted or automated, like apart from the other front end and other things. And to arrive this, like we use Python. So basically, each of these keywords are defined in something called a resource file. Like say, for example, here you saw getting builder ID and test run ID with test case ID. So there is some basic Python coding is there. Then what it means is the robot framework will understand that line number 13 as a English keyword, and then you can use that keyword to construct test cases. So pretty much I think NPCI can adapt these test cases for any scenarios and put it in the server. So like, you can quickly adapt for new APIs and all those things. So this is a kind of a brief overview about the backend test framework. Once testing is done, then the report is automatically uploaded, and then the biller will be qualified for production. This is overview. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahesh. Thank you so much, but we do have more for you. As Subradeep has already mentioned, we have kept provisions to modify the biller, deactivate and activate the biller. So depending upon your request, NBBL user can, I'll first show you the modification. So Suppose as a bank user, I want to modify some fields. So I'll go to this approved biller list and I'll select Tata Power. So after going to history details, maybe I'll edit the biller details. Suppose I'm editing the PAN number. Suppose I want to delete one payment mode, say account transfer. And I'll remove one breakup set. So the bank user can now submit the biller after sending the modification details. And this can be done, this biller is now approved by NPCI user.
So just to add to what Amritha is demonstrating. Now, when our BO is modifying a biller, there can be multiple types of modification. One that you can change, say, the customer parameters. You might changing the biller name. You might want to change the communication address, contact number. So now the system has that understanding that for what type of change, whether there is an approval needed or not, for any type of change, whether testing is needed or not. So it will have those kind of, suppose you are changing the communication address and nothing is needed. You will just simply go and update it. But if you're doing custom parameter, then it will both approval as well as testing will be needed again. So this system will have that kind of, it has that kind of validation. We'll come to Q&A.
Okay, so now we can check whether this change is reflecting here. Okay, and there is a JSON comparison which shows the change request, so that the NBBL user can distinguish between the change and the original value and approve the changes. Okay, now the biller is approved. Now we have another provision to activate or deactivate a biller. So I'm deactivating this plus ultra biller. Deactivated, and this will come as an inactive biller, and an NBBL user can also activate this, reactivate this biller. So yes, that's all about our biller onboarding and automated testing portal demo. Now we are open for questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for her? Thank you so much. I think we have a much more better idea and clarity now as to how to go about doing it live, step-by-step process. We now open the floor for questions. So if you have a question, please raise your hand. I know this gentleman out here.
It's more related to technical side. So,
Sorry to interrupt before you ask. I think I'd also like to invite Braj, who is, I think you all know Braj, who have been into biller onboarding. So he looks after the biller onboarding into a platform right now. So I will also like to invite him so that. Yeah, please. Sorry, I interrupted you.
so Subradeep, here it was also given that organization address and the customer parameter. Let's say if a biller wants to change the security authentication process, like some billers might have like token API type of thing, or some biller might to have a public certification type of thing. So that kind of input was not required here. So how will you have that?
So are you talking about the biller side integration?
Right.
So basically we are onboarding a biller after you have already onboarded it.
Okay, but
Okay.
Understood. But वो तो objective पूरा नहीं हो रहा है ना, like the objective was to reduce the overall tag. So you are telling we have to onboard it separately, have all the thing.
The biller integration has other parameters and other side of the API that you are integrating. Each and every biller has a different set of APIs.
Correct.
So that has to be handled by the BOU as of now.
Okay.
Once the onboarding is done on the BOU side, you can onboard it on to the boat application.
Okay. This is just removing the biller configuration file.
So the dependency on the BPMU team or the NPCI team, that we are reducing it, actually removing it. And we are just keeping a approval part for now.
we are further on discussion to remove that part as well. Once the automated testing is has some type of library built inside.
Okay, so once we onboard it here, so for the UAT testing cases, like the whole process will be that the biller ID, jo earlier you used to say, it has to get mapped at the biller end also. So here, how will you running the test cases without informing the
Basic
biller
default
ID?
test cases we have already configured. So let's say there are some special test cases that has to be run. We will configure that according to the requirement of the BOU.
And the biller ID, like the biller ID that used to get.
So once you will put down the details on the system, system is automatically generating the biller ID.
And
That
now
will be mapped to the sandbox and UAT system
I
directly,
can show you that.
and it will be available for the testing on the next moment itself.
But that biller ID needs to get mapped at biller end also, na?
So biller end or BOU end?
BOU end. So,
So once you have submitted the details and NPCI team has approved it, you will get the biller ID on your portal itself.
Okay.
You can directly take the configuration and map it.
ठीक.
So even if you're using the API responds at the biller ID. So step one is that, for step one is where you are first integrating the biller with your platform. So I'm not sure how automated you are planning to make it. But once that part is done, then from your platform, either you can use API to push the details to our system, will give the biller ID, or you can use the portal to manually enter the details and get the biller ID.
Okay. Thanks. And the payment mode, like here, you have shown that there is option to enter the minimum maximum amount. So is there any validation based on the RBI regulation, like UPI ka only 1 lakh?
We already discussed in the morning. So the validation on the payment mode is actually kept on the payment gateway side.
Okay.
So we are just giving a limit to the viewer if they want to keep it. For example, let's say in cash, you must know that in BACS there is a limit of 5,000.
Right.
So that amount, if you want to put, you can put it there. Else, it is already on the regulatory side on the payment gateway platform.
So here, let's say, agar by mistake, if someone is, because it's a manual entry, for UPI, if let's say someone doesn't enter like 1 lakh rupees as a maximum amount, put some different amount. So will that be handled at your end, or will it might cause
That
error?
will get handled over to UPI because that UPI switch will not allow you, right?
So once the transaction is successful on the payment side, on the payment gateway side, amount is deducted from the consumer's account, then the request is getting transferred. So that validation is actually on the payment gateway side.
But are there basic validations inserted? Like minimum amount should not be more than the maximum
Yeah,
amount?
Those are there.
So we couldn't demonstrate every violation, sir, but all the violations are there. Yeah.
In some of the categories, like it did came insurance category also that loan repayment credit card should not be allowed. Insurance for some of them,
But
50,000
that,
se zyada nahi.
those are all taken care of.
Any further questions from? Yeah, please.
So there are certain billers in the broadband category who would wish to push their plans and benefits, okay, which can be displayed on the COU front ends. So is there any functionality through which this portal it can be managed? Can we upload the plans of any particular biller or something like that?
The plan MDM part, it's so while onboarding a biller, so there's a plan MDM API that which gives you the response. So now you want to manage those plans from the
Right. So if any biller doesn't have any APIs, they manually send us all the plans and the benefits. So is it possible to do it manually through the portal if there is no such API available?
Yes, we have an additional tab which will automatically show up once you select the a particular
Can you
option.
show that if you don't mind?
Biller onboarding. Plan MDM, when customer biller params में ad hoc इसका तब आएगा ना? Ad hoc is fetch requirement, mandatory.
अब उसमें जाओ, इसको सेव करो.
Onboarded.
biller might say कि tuition fee, sports fee, library, there should be a drop down with 3 options or let's say more. So earlier we used to send you guys like manually that API details. इसमें how will you handle it?
So there is no difference on the drop-down menu that you are using on the previous part as well. So there is a display values, default values part. In the default values, you have to put down the drop-down list as a comma separated values without space.
Okay. And it will be like applicable mandatory for also you used to show this?
Yes.
Hi, Braj.
Yes, sir.
Does the biller deactivation happen immediately or after the approval?
After the approval as of now.
For example, in case of Canvas, the IP whitelisting and the natting will be required at the NPCI end. And as far as this portal concerned, we do have multiple TSPs. So who can access this portal? Only OUs or the TSP?
So it's a primary access being given to OUs. Now it's the OU's responsibility if they want to pass on that credentials to a TSP or whatever.
But will multiple logins be given or
Yeah. We have
multiple logins be
multiple
given?
given. And so we will have an admin user also who can create more user, can define the roles and the permissions and everything.
But can they access directly portal with the help of link or any natting or whitelisting will be required at the NPCI end?
It will be on NPCI net for now.
Okay. And can we get to know on the how the bulk API will support for the onboarding? And in bulk API, how can we handle the scenario wherein the consent form and the other prerequisites we wanted to onboard? How can be taken care here?
Okay, so here you have to like give a consent letter for
Yes.
every pillar.
Correct.
Okay, so if it's in bulk, then you maybe you can use the API path to onboard a biller, where automatic you can have some iterating.
Pagination we can do.
Correct. Like so you can iterate and you can upload. So upload is also over API. So therefore, suppose you have 1,000 billers, you can use the API to attach the file, create the bill, attach the file. So like that way you can create the bulk biller.
But in case of you will require the consent form now for that 1,000 biller. So how can we upload that thing? We will have to upload one by one.
Yeah.
In that scenario, by
Yes.
selecting that
You have to
biller.
onboard for everyone. You have to say something? Okay.
Consent forms for bulk biller, we already have the facility where we take only one consent form if there are multiple billers. In case there are 10, 12, 15 billers, we take only one consent form and we ask to list, the format of the consent form for bulk biller onboarding is different than our usual consent form for a single biller.
That's the aggregator consent.
Exactly, right. So that would any which ways get solved. Then a single.
Yeah, that OU. No. It's deactivated for the whole ecosystem, but the deactivation is allowed by the OU who has onboarded that biller, and that will also come for our approval for now. So once we approve, then it will be deactivated.
In that case, we will be rejecting the deactivation and we will remap the secondary OU as a primary OU. That's a basic validation check we are doing right now as well. So we will be keeping that as well. Then, so as of now, the biller is onboarded once, and whenever the secondary OU tries to onboard it, we are just giving it a traffic percentage. We'll just remove that traffic percentage.
So biller MDM refresh is on a daily basis or how it is?
Sorry.
So the question is the biller MDM refresh which is there. So if I deactivate a biller today, right? So it will be deactivated from BBPS ecosystem, and like MDM refresh takes time. So if I'm a customer, I'm using PhonePe or any platform and wanted to make a payment, it will not go through, right? In case it's only one primary OU which is there. So in that case, biller MDM refresh will it's on a real-time basis, or it will take some time to get it refreshed.
So biller gets deactivated. Will get deactivated instantly in our platform. Now that MDM that we circulate to the whole ecosystem, that's a weekly process right now. But that also we are automating over that. And now what will be the frequency of that? And also we have we have MDM API. So it's as real time as this OU. Suppose the bank's platform or those fintech apps, they have those MDM API, so they can invoke the API and they will instantly get those the status of that biller.
So basically, once the biller is deactivated, it is reflected in the database. Once you start pulling the data from the MDM API, you will get the details.
Your plan MDM part, we will just show you off the stage.
I had one
Configuration.
question.
Yeah.
This is a basic task of NPCI, which earlier NPCI used to do, correct? Correct. And now you have been doing it.
Correct.
So why this automation, how this will help? I mean, how this will help BOU? This is eventually work of NPCI, which you should actually do it. Now you're smartly developing it, automating it, putting it to BOU. So let BOU handle it.
Nice question. Okay.
Yeah, it is. Actually, you're doing that.
No, so anyway, you're also doing, because suppose if you're the BOU, you're anyway entering details somewhere and giving it to us. Now, so that part, I'm saying instead of doing that in an Excel sheet, do it here. Now you have to
But
wait for
that
us. You have to wait for us.
is-
Sorry, come in.
That is something which is, I mean, it is your task. You should do it. We have made those details and you should do it, correct?
Correct, correct. So we are doing it.
No,
Now we have a
but
system doing it.
this is-
So, but we are doing it.
But we need a additional manpower to do that, correct?
We use the APIs. That's why we have the.
No, that is something
okay,
which
so
is every, see, earlier I think you have came up with the agent data configuration, correct? Which is recently made automated, and we have resources for that. We have hired resources to do that.
Okay.
A team has been doing it, and you are just approving it at your end. Earlier, we used to send that data. You should configure it, and you should give it back to us.
Okay.
So we are not doing it. We are basically taking that data and passing it to you, being an aggregator. Similar to we are already there in a market as a payment aggregator, correct? So we earlier used to do that. Right now, what we are doing, we are taking that data. We are doing that thing which NPCI used to do. We are putting it on your product. You are just approving it.
Okay.
It's your product, right? You should take care of it.
No. So we are still taking care of it. So don't worry about that. But see, now there's I could answer two part of it. Okay. So one is that for whatever we are giving you a portal, we give the API as well, and we expect our partners to gradually start consuming those APIs. Then you okay. So and then if you just try to understand that, so if you consume the APIs, then you can your own portal where biller can onboard themselves, where we can skip your manual part of doing things. See, if you keep things manual at your end, then there has to be a step where you're manually entering things. So what you have to do, you have to consume the APIs, pass on that responsibility back to the biller. That okay, you want to get onboarded on this portal. You put the validation, similar validations, and then pass on details to us. Step one. Step two is that in future, once we have more comfort on this automation part, we can open it for the billers also to onboard themselves via some BOU. So that's the gradual progression that we are taking towards to.
I don't know. I still feel like this is semi-automated from your side, and you're just putting your.
So rest of the work I'm expecting is to fully automate.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the lieu of time constraint, we'll have to.
Okay, so I think we can take one last.
All
question.
right.
So if there are two OUs and a change request had been sent by one OU, so how that scenario will be handled?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
So if a biller has two OUs,
okay,
and there is a change request sent by one OU,
okay,
so how that scenario will be handled?
So,
So once a primary OU, let's say, inputs the change details to the system, it will be notified to secondary OU as well, and internal NPCI team as well, that there has been a change request from the other OU who is trying to change these parameters. If he is as well as NPCI are in same page that yes, we can go ahead with this change, then we will do the change and that will be available for the testing for both the OUs.
So the consent has to be received from the other OU as well?
Yes, correct.
So is that part of this workflow?
No, change is not going to come. No. So the change depends on change. As I mentioned, it has to be based on it can go on approval, testing, and all that.
But if in case there is one biller which is going to be onboarded by one OU, for example, can the same biller be onboarded by another OU? If in case there are,
Yeah, that's an attachment of another BOU. Yeah, so we have the provision.
you have that facility.
Yeah. We have that.
One biller can be onboarded by two.
Two OUs. Yeah.
So.
So any OU can do actually.
will reject the
No, so the
changes.
change will not be made live.
See, so once we have the confirmation from the biller, so as of now, biller is not a part of boat application. So that's a manual process till now. So we will be continuing that process as of now until biller is onboarded with the biller dashboard, boat application parallelly. Then we can take care of that part as well. Initially, we'll reject it. After discussion, we can further decide whether to remove the second OU or the offline. Yes.
So, but whether NPCI will be involved in this discussion between the two OUs or how it will be? Because
we will be. Yeah.
Okay. So, because the biller is agnostic, like he said, you take care of it, like you handle it.
Purpose here that we it's not that we are going to go away anywhere. Like, so we are there very much. Only we want to reduce our dependencies for you to do anything, and maybe it's a step one, but there are many more steps to do. Because as we all understand, it's a complicated integrations that we have with biller, BOU, and CU and COU and all that. So I think we all will evolve together, where we can have more complete end-to-end automation of that.
Ladies and gentlemen, the team is here with us. They are there. So if in case we have any more questions or clarifications, we can take it on a one-on-one. Let's give it a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for the team. Thank you so much. A very big thank you to Bharat Bill Pay for bringing this to us. Please note our next session, our workshop on B2B payments will start in a couple of minutes. In fact, in the next 2 to 3 minutes. So kindly be seated. Requesting you all be seated in the next 2 to 3 minutes. We will have the B2B payments workshop. Thank you.